Hello everyone and welcome back again. This is actually my second attempt to filming because previously I filmed it outside. Like I want to make outdoor book review, but apparently I cannot do that. The noise is horrible, so I'm back to my room studio again. Alright, today I have a very interesting book to review. This is one of the classics alongside with Brave New World and 1984. This book is Fahrenheit 451, another book that make me trauma and pondering. So as always, I already made a note, but it's not much because I think this book is, I don't need to open or dive very deep on this book because this book is actually, I think it's already open itself to us. Like I don't have to make it naked, it's already naked, if you know what I mean. Fahrenheit 451 is written by Ray Bradbury and published at the 1953, and the genre is dystopian. Fahrenheit 451, a temperature capable of burning book paper and scorching it. Burn to ashes, then burn the ashes. That's our official slogan. Guy Montag is a firefighter. His job is to burn books. All books, because books are the source of all chaos and unhappiness, and must be destroyed. The Bloodhound, equipped with a little searing and escorted by a helicopter, is ready to track down disinterest, who challenge the rules. People who dare to keep and read books in a society that has been drugged and enslaved by media, drugs, and conformity. But Montag is unhappy, and his marriage is not harmonious. Are there books hidden in his house? So like the title and the synopsis that I have read, this book is about censorship, especially about books. So this book is talking about censorship of the book. Book in this world is banned. You will soon know why book is banned. But to answer that, we are going to open scene by scene what happened here, and then we will have the answer. So in the future, firefighter, or rather called fireman, their job is to burn books and the houses that contains them. Guy Montag is a proud fireman who believes he helps maintain social order by destroying books. His life changes when his neighbor, a young girl, or rather young woman, I forgot how old is she, Clarice McClellan, asks simple but profound questions about life and unhappiness. This is where Montag began look closer to his personal life. His relationship with his wife, Mildred Montag, became empty and disconnected because she spends her days absorbed in a giant television and superficial entertainment. One day, when he's on duty, he witnessed an elderly woman choosing to die with her books, instead giving the books to be burned. And these events shocking him deeply, it made him start to collecting books and reading them, hoping to understand why people valuing books so much. And then, as his interest grows, he seeks help from Faber. He is a former English professor, and Faber explained that books is more than physical collection, but it contains ideas, complexity, and opportunity for reflections. And of course, because his work as a fireman and his action is the opposite of what he must do, It invites suspicion from his superior, Captain Beatty, who defends censorship and explains how society gradually abandoned books in favor of comfort, speed, and entertainment. When Montag is discovered, he forced to burn his own house. In desperation, he kills Beatty and flees from the authorities. I remember this part when Montag is find out that he read books. Beatty know this because his wife, Montag's wife, Mildred, is reporting her own husband of his action. The government launches a massive manhunt using mechanical hound. It's like the bloodhound I described earlier on the synopsis. It's like dogs that the police use to track down suspect, but this is mechanical dog, and in their snout is a syringe contain poison or something like that, and it's lethal. Montag escapes the city and finds a group of intellectual exiles who have memorized books in order to preserve their content. A war breaks out and the city is destroyed. Montag and the group hope to help rebuild civilization using the knowledge they have preserved. I don't really remember the ending of this book. Was that really a war? But I remember when Montag flees with the exiled group. When he looked back, the city was in chaos. Everything is uncontrolled. And if I'm not mistaken, the tension of war already building far before Montag's action and meet the exile. So it seems like in the story when Montag finally read book and meet with the intellectual exiles, it is the catalyst of the war to be explode. This is actually one of those books who make me stop and really pondering because it hits too close to home. It is very close to the reality. In this book, people are drugged and enslaved by media, drugs, and conformity. Sounds very familiar if we see to the reality of our everyday, how we are constantly consuming media through devices. And sometimes, most of the time, it's not a useful thing. We want entertainment, but we are lulled by it, and we spend more times chasing dopamine, short and shallow entertainment, and the effect. This book also gives us the effect of what happened if we keep doing that. Montag's relationship with his wife became shallow and empty. It is following some kind of like spiritual enlightenment thing when someone is witnessing something very shocking that it changed them. For Montag, it is when he was on duty and he told to burn the house, contained many books, and then there was elderly women live there, and she chose to die with her books. And this is provoked Montag's curiosity why someone would choose to die with just a stack of paper, and then he tried to take a book and read it. At first he doesn't know, but he began to know, and he seeks help from his old friend Faber. And Faber explained that books contain more ideas, complexity, and opportunity for reflections. That's why book is being censored. Actually, it's very familiar. For like 2 or 3 years ago, I forgot. It's not too long time ago. In my country, the government was really banned several books because it considered dangerous. It's not about terrorism or something like that, but it's more books that talking about ideology, especially ideology of famous people that considered to be dangerous. And it was very concerning because it's like Fahrenheit 451 became reality. And I think the reflection of this story in our modern life is the government or anyone who's in power doesn't need to ban books. We just given more and more shallow entertainment, comfort, and speed. We no longer have patience to absorb information in long form like book or long videos. We want something short, fast, and comfortable. It's also how the authorities makes us unconscious. We are always given entertainment and we don't need to think deeply because it is comfortable. We get it easily, so we don't need to reflect, and this is make them easier to control us. As long as we get entertainment, we will obey what they want, so they could control it. I think that is why. And I really want to talk about this comfort, speed, entertainment. I feel very guilty when I read this book because I started to spend more time on my phone, consuming media rather than reading books. I have a lot of books, and despite I'm reviewing books, I'm not reading book every day, and it makes me guilty. Like, I shouldn't spend more time on my devices and I should read more books. And I want to talk a bit about media that anyone induced us so we could easily control. When I'm going out in public, I hardly see someone read a book. Not even read a book, just like sit by themselves and their thoughts. They are always looking down at their phone doing I don't know what. And even when they commute on the train, they're looking down. Like all of them, it's like looking at the old dystopian cartoon when people are standing on the train and then look down at the phone. That's basically what I see when I'm commuting. When I'm going out, I really like to observe what's around me rather than focusing on my phone. It's like people doing that dystopian cartoon thing. And I thought when they're looking at the phone like that, they are answering or messaging someone important or reading something important, but no, they're just like scrolling TikTok and pass through. They cannot get off their phone for a bit while. They need constant entertainment. And this media is evil, not in some kind of like in the Running Man movie. No, it's not like that. This is because we are constantly exposed to the media, fast media, and then we are easily to compare ourselves with internet standard, success, body shape, and beauty standard. I think it's not necessarily true that we have to follow it because if you stop looking to those standard and just look at yourself in the mirror, forget the standard. There's nothing wrong with us. Mostly we are fine. Everybody have their own timeline. Everybody is unique. Why do we want to look exactly like the influencer? Changing our body, our face, changing how we dress just because trends say so or for validation rather than being ourselves. We started to lose ourselves to the internet standard, and it is scary, very scary. This book is actually the scariest book I read, not because there are murderer or ghosts, but it is reflecting. It's like I want to read book, but I accidentally put mirror in front of me, in front of everyone. And I guess this is not the last book that being my mirror. There are other books I haven't read that will be my mirror. Franz Kafka, especially Kafka. I have Kafka's book I haven't read, Paulo Coelho. Possibly in my next book review it will be as reflective as this one, but not identical, but as reflective. I love reflective story. I think that is all I can talk about from Fahrenheit 451. This story is about censorship, like I said before. and in our modern time, especially not only books that are censored, but any other valuable information. If it's considered not accepted, it would be censored, even though it's the truth. So we must be careful, we must be open our eyes wide to see which is the truth and which is not. This is actually also a reminder that sometimes when we go to our social media, we saw many people talking about something like they know what they're talking about, and we believe it, although we haven't double checked it. And it's very important for us to double check it if this information is true or not, and not to believe it. I'm not saying don't believe it, but if you know that this information is true, then you can believe it. But if you are unsure, you better want to double check it. As for me, if you don't believe what I said all this time, like I'm reviewing science book on my last video, if you don't believe it, that's okay. You can double check it yourself, especially because it is the fact, it's not interpretation like fictional book, and I suggest you to double check it. I am trying my best to convey the exact information and not fabricated it, not my opinion if it's science or something concrete. If it's non-fiction book, I just want to let you know. And for the next video is cozy chat. I actually have some news I want to share. I'm so excited. I'm not going to yap more about this. I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.